Hey, everybody, have a devotional thought for you this week. I really wanted to expand on maybe some of the reasons why we do certain things. Because I know we're in a time here where we're not meeting face to face. It starts to think about why do we even do the things that we do? And that's kind of been my focus here over the last few weeks is to really make sure that what we're doing as a church is what we're supposed to be doing. And what if what we're doing is beneficial to God's ultimate plan. That's really the focus on where we should be at this point in our ministry in what we are doing here. So I want to share with you a little bit. This is a verse from Matthew 28, a couple verses here. We'll go 18 through the end of the chapter, and you may have heard this. This is the Great Commission. Okay, this is the very end. Jesus is telling his disciples what they need to do once he's done. Last words of the book of Matthew. And Jesus came and said to them, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age. I think this is an important verse because you got to look a little past just go make disciples. What does that really mean to us as Christians? Now, I preach a lot on living missionally in what we do, going out into the world, going to your place of business, going to your work, going to your home, going to your family, living the life that Christ wants you to live, because I believe that is the number one way that we can make disciples for Jesus Christ, for the transformation of this world. The Methodist mission statement. So, I talk about that a lot, but there's another flip side of that, though. God's not looking for attendance. God's not looking for numbers. People you ask a lot of times, oh, how was church? Oh, it was great. We had 84 people. Attendance isn't what God's looking for. And a lot of people kind of judge that. They say, I go to the biggest church in town, or my church is growing. We've added this many more people. God's not looking for a total number of believers. He's looking for a heart change. He is asking for us as disciples to go make more people that love Christ. And it may just be one. It may just be two or three. We can go to all the ends of the earth as if we make the difference for one heart, for one soul, to truly turn to Christ in a true and meaningful way. God cares more about that than what the attendance ever will be. That's why it's so important during these times when we are not meeting in the building. How important is what we do in the building? It's important, but it's not our commission. It's not the most important thing that we can do. We can do what God tells us to do without ever going into that building again. That makes it harder. It definitely isn't the way that we want to do things, but our goal here is the commission, to make disciples. And that's why I like this verse, because it doesn't just say, go out and get as many people in here as possible. It says very clearly, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything that I've commanded you. Don't just bring someone to church. That doesn't accomplish much. Make your time working for Christ means something. Go out there to make disciples. Tell them about Christ and how Christ wants us to live. And if they begin to see that, their lives will be transformed. That is what God asks us to do. Standing on a street corner, screaming about Jesus isn't always going to help. And filling our church with a bunch of people who don't really believe isn't going to help. I always said I've been called to small churches. I never want to preach to a huge congregation on the regular, because I think that at that point it starts to just be about the numbers. And that's not what God calls us to do. He calls us to make disciples. So, even though we are not in the building, even though we are not meeting on Sundays right now, continue to go out and live missionally in your life. Share Christ in how you live, in what you are doing, in the words that come out of your mouth, and the actions that you have. Live Christ for all to see. because that's how you can truly get someone to understand. It's not just about showing up on Sundays, dropping your envelope in the collection plate. It's about making true and lasting disciples for Christ. Folks, as always, I thank you for all that you are, and the whole group, the congregation, the people that are just watching us online that have never set foot in the building. I love you all. I am so thankful to be able to help in any way that I can move you along your spiritual journey. If you can, share these videos with any and all that need to see it. Our sermons, our services on Sundays, anything and everything is out there for God to use to reach the right people. You are the hands and feet, and you can make that happen. Thank you all for watching and sharing. God bless.